What's up, everybody? It's Pinnacle with League of Items, and it's time for Worlds 2023 content. It's been a while. So before we get started, I think you all understand what we need to do first.
No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
Pinnacle money, Pinnacle money, Pinnacle money. We making Pinnacle money. Payday, about to throw a rack on China. Need some DFS advice, where can I find some? League of Items got the sheet with all the lineups and all the stacks that you need to get to diamond. League of Items!
Getting gold, that's the goal. Keep on winning on a roll. Kill 4 dragons, got soul. Now you got nowhere to go. Teleporting top to bot. Dive your carry on the spot. That's an ace. Wreck your base. Wear my crown. We on top.
It's the league, it's the league, it's the league, it's the league, it's the league of items.
League of Items!
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Legend, legend,
Legend,
legend,
legend,
legend, legend.
Well, it's good to be back. It's been a long time. It's been several months. Didn't really watch a ton of League of Legends over the past couple of months, just between work, golf, other things. Didn't really have time to spend on League of Legends. But it's funny because I was getting ready to start making content for Worlds, because last year, we called DRX basically. I had them at like plus 3,300, and I think I might have also had them at plus 4,000 because of how the play-in stages went. And, those kinds of things are possible, not because, I know better than everyone, which I might. But it really comes down to like the approach that I have that focuses primarily on talent, and I just want to make sure that I'm betting on players that I think are good enough to beat the other best teams in the world. Does it take a little bit of, like, luck is the wrong word, but does it take some things to go your way in order for it to happen? Yes, definitely. I mean, if you remember, a lot of the matches last year at Worlds were completely insane. Piosic, people were saying Piosic was trying to throw the finals and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, their team was good enough. So let's try to figure out some teams that we like more than the field, that we like less than the field, and things like that. But before we get into all of that, I wanted to first bring up one of my favorite things to talk about in League of Legends, Yamato Cannon. So Yamato Cannon put out a tier list, and he has JDG winning 15 to 40% of the time, contenders BLG, LNG, Genji winning between 6 to 15% of the time, the quote-unquote DRX zone, which is T1, KT, Weibo, Damwon, and G2, the rest of the West, which is Fnatic, MAD, C9, Golden Guardians, and BDS, as well as NRG and TL with a 0% chance of winning. And then all of the play-in teams, he doesn't put an actual percentage on because he doesn't watch them enough, which I think is a fair way to approach it. The problem is that you can go to any sportsbook or any channel and you can find that tier list. That tier list isn't going to be actionable in any meaningful way, because if you look at the numbers, and I have these in a spreadsheet, I have the Pinnacle Lines, which is from a different sports book that Jay Skelts uses. I'm actually gonna make a video with him later on today. That'll be posted either today or tomorrow, where the left column is the Bet365 lines, which is attached to one of the larger sports books in the world. That's where I bet last year on DRX. So if you take the American odds, which is like plus 120, plus 1200, plus 1400, plus 2500, and you convert it to a percentage, that's the break-even percentage that it needs to hit in order for it to be a valuable bet, right? So JDG, the sportsbook is saying they're going to win about 45% of the time. That's a crazy number. You can get that number in the finals, like plus 500. Anything bigger than that, you're not going to really see that in the finals unless it's like a huge mismatch. But by the time that you get to the finals, no team should really be viewed as a huge mismatch. DRX, when they were in the finals, you did have a good betting opportunity still. But that's basically where we're at. So if you just look side by side, these percentages are almost exactly what he's saying because he knows about the sports book and the percentages that are implied. The skill in all of this is figuring out why those numbers are incorrect. So, well, not why they're incorrect, why you think that they're wrong. Because if you think that they're wrong and you think that BLG is actually going to win this 20% of the time, then you have a 9% advantage over the sports book and you have an opportunity to make some money. So that's just one thing I wanted to throw out there first because, a lot of people are going to, go to people like Yamato, Cannon, Cadril, those types of people for content when their job isn't to be right. My job, to be completely transparent, isn't to be right either. Like, this isn't a job for me. This is just something I do for fun. But I'm able to find teams like DRX that have a real chance of winning the finals when most people aren't talking about them. Same thing with a team like Suning. They were my dark horse year that they made the finals. And every year there are some teams that are interesting from that perspective. But I guess one thing to keep in mind is that they don't always exist. In order for Damwon, in order for DRX or Suning to make a run at the tournament and to be a dark horse that actually means something, they need to exist. And some years there's just no team in that range of the odds that has a chance of winning. So that's one thing that we're going to be taking a look at on the channel over the next week or so. I want to get a decent amount of content out before World starts. That's probably an Amazon truck. So that's Yamato. Looking back at Worlds 2022, so I pulled up a couple of my videos from last year. If you want a reminder or a refresher on why you may want to listen to some of the things that we talk about on the channel, we did the Worlds betting preview with J Scouts last year. We went through a lot of the percentages and different betting opportunities that were out there. So just go back, watch that video, compare it to the results that were out there. Then this is the video that I posted before the finals, saying perception versus reality, why DRX will beat T1 and win Worlds in 2022. I had a ton of feedback on that video. A lot of people were, I guess annoyed or skeptical or thought I was just making the argument just to make an argument. But 4.4K views. A lot of comments were saying like you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. But at the end of the day, I was right. It's not perfect, but I was right, and that accounts for something. And then I did a review video as well. So there are just a couple of videos that you might want to check out if you plan on watching a bunch of content for Worlds, because that'll be helpful for you. Then the Worlds 2023 format, we should talk about this because it is a little bit different. So if you look, it's going to be a Swiss. So this is a format that's really popular in chess, and League of Legends borrows a lot of stuff from chess, like early game, mid game, late game, ELO rating, which we don't really have, we kind of have, but we don't really have anymore. But so basically in a Swiss, the first part of the Swiss, every team has a 0-0 record, and you get randomly matched up with another team that has a 0-0 record. All of the winners go into one pool, all the losers go into a different pool. You get randomly drawn again, and you play another match. So then we're going to have teams that are 2-0, 1-1, and 0-2. Those teams that are 0-2, two of those teams will be eliminated when they lose their third game. Then you go into the next bracket, which is 2-1 and 1-2. Again, 3 of the teams from the 1 and 2 portion are going to be eliminated. And the last set is all of the teams that are 2-2 at that point, and 3 more teams will get knocked out. So that is going to be a really interesting aspect of Worlds this year. I don't know if it's necessarily better or worse from a parity perspective, because it does kind of suck if you get a lot of the best teams randomly matching up in the 0-0 or 1-0, 0-1. It doesn't really completely tank a team's winning chances of winning the finals, because you have to beat all these teams in one way or another to get there. But maybe that'll give us, maybe it'll end up being better. I'm not sure. I don't think that the group stage format was horrible. It's just that there were a lot of teams that probably didn't deserve to get that much screen time, which was negatively impacting viewership numbers maybe, or maybe they were just sick of watching those teams get destroyed. But that's basically it. The final 2 things I want to mention, if you have any ideas for content that you want to see on the channel, let me know in the comment section, and I'll be pumping out videos. The first video that I'm going to do is with J Scouts. We're going to talk about the qualifying series, Golden Guardians versus BDS, as well as ranking all the teams in the LEC and the LCS against one another. I'm going to do best player from each team and rank them. I'm going to do positions individually, probably. I'll probably do the LPL and the LCK and do a combined rankings. I'll probably do ranking every team that's in there. And then the video that I really want to do is searching for this year's DRX, which, like I said, they may or may not exist. It might come from a different part of the board. Like, there isn't going to be a 3,300 to 1 or a plus 3,300 opportunity like there was last year. But let's go through it. And again, I'm playing catch up this year. I watched some matches, especially when it got towards the end of the year. But like, I know all these players for the most part. It's just I don't know who's been playing really well recently. And ultimately, that's not my focus anyways, because form is temporary, class is permanent, and our focus should always be on the class of the players and like how great they are. And we want to focus on difference makers, which is another thing that a lot of people don't do. So that's basically it. Welcome back to me, welcome back to you, welcome back to the channel. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.